Sunday and Monday.
Good evening, I'm Kurt Anderson.
And I'm Ron Olson. Fire tore through the Howard Johnson's Motor Lodge in Westview tonight, sending 3 people, including a Baltimore County fireman, to the burn unit at University Hospital.
Smoke billowed from the 2 top floors of the 7-story building as firefighters from the county, the city, Westview, and at least 6 other local stations worked to evacuate the guests, including some who were trapped on their balconies on the 6th and 7th floors. All but 2 of the occupants got out without being injured. Bill and Dennis McCabe of Hayward, California were on the 7th floor when the fire broke out.
My son smelled smoke. We started looking for the source. We checked the heater and all the usual things. Then we opened the door of the hall and we saw the smoke.
Thick?
Thick, about 3/4 of the way down from the ceiling. So then we started crawling underneath the smoke as much as we could towards the, whatever exit that is. What is that, north?
Yeah.
I don't know. And we couldn't reach it, the smoke was too thick. So we reversed ourselves and went back to the south exit. And I went up to check the roof door and found a padlock on it. And he went down to the 6th floor to see how things were down there. He yelled at me that it was clear down there and it was up in the 7th. So we went down to the 5th, and from there on we were all right.
It took the 100 or so firemen more than an hour to put a lid on the fire. Then came the chore of taking the names of all the guests who were forced to flee into the night air. Housing for the evacuated guests was arranged with another motor lodge not far away on Route 40. Fire officials were then left trying to determine what caused the smoky fire, which appeared to have done its heaviest damage to the hallways on the 6th and 7th floors.
Now, we made a late phone check with the burn unit just minutes ago, and, well, they refused to release any names. They did tell us that the 2 lodge guests that were injured are a husband and wife. The wife, they say, is all right, but her husband is listed as stable but in guarded condition. The other injury was to a Baltimore County firefighter. Here again, no name, but he too is stable but guarded, being treated for smoke inhalation. Kurt?
Around across town, 1 man was killed and another injured after a speeding train hit them near Essex. The New York to New Orleans bound Amtrak train was traveling at about 80 miles an hour when it hit the 2 men trespassing on the tracks near Eastern Avenue and Earls Road. The name of the dead man is still being withheld at this hour, but 21-year-old Joe Lentz is listed in good condition at City Hospital following the incident.
City police are looking for a man they say shot and killed 2 men and then tried to kill a witness to the shootings. It happened at the corner of Whitelock and Druid Hill. 6 gunshots rang out early this morning. When police arrived, they found all 3 men lying on the ground. 29-year-old Raymond Vaughn was pronounced dead at the scene. David Stringfield was taken to shock trauma. He died at 3 this afternoon. The 3rd man considers himself lucky to be alive.
You like see all that? And when he fired the pistol, I just turned. And he fell, George fell, right? When George fell, I grabbed him. And the only reason it didn't hit me there because I felt. Because I felt that way.
The bullet just grazed you?
Right. That's the only reason. If it wasn't for that, I might have had one in my head, too.
Would you recognize him if you saw him again?
I wish I could. No, I can't.
Now, despite Claiborne's recall, police have a description of the murderer. They say another witness saw the whole incident from his car. Police are now working on composite drawings as the manhunt continues into the night.
Well, in Atlanta, a child's green windbreaker and T-shirt, both covered by dried blood, were found by police dogs yesterday. Police are now trying to determine whether those articles are connected with a string of unsolved murders there. So far, 11 black children have been killed in Atlanta during the last 16 months. 4 others are still missing. Clothing was found in some woods near a cemetery.
The death of David Pempel is being investigated by the Maryland Occupational Safety and Health Administration. The Glen Burnie resident was the Bethlehem steelworker who was killed yesterday when a mechanical lift supporting him fell to the ground. One of Pempel's co-workers said Pempel may have neglected to take the proper safety measures. The company and state health officials are refusing to speculate at all. Meantime, the employment situation at the plant isn't expected to get any better for at least 1 year. That is according to Joe Kotelchuk, who is president of one of the steelworkers' unions. He says he had been told that there were to be enormous callbacks. However, a continued sagging demand for U.S. Steel has kept the numbers called back limited. Only 300 of the nearly 3,000 have been taken back on the job.
Ron, the first goal of President-elect Ronald Reagan has set for himself, his administration, is to bring the nation's economy under control. And today, Mr. Reagan met for 45 minutes with his top economic advisors in Los Angeles to go over plans the fiscal wizards have been thrashing out this weekend. The president-elect told reporters afterwards his economic plan will mean, quote, prosperity that will be shared by all. He didn't elaborate, however.
President Carter got a pleasant surprise when he attended services this morning at Washington's First Baptist Church. A resolution was read to the president, read out loud in a pre-service Bible class. It read, quote, none of us can imagine the feelings in your heart after the election. The proclamation also thanked Mr. Carter for belonging to First Baptist. The president, obviously touched by the gesture, replied, thank you very much. That means so much to me.
And while the November 24th edition of Newsweek magazine hasn't reached local newsstands yet, Channel 2 has learned from the magazine that former Governor Marvin Mandel is blaming President Carter for the recent decision to deny Mandel early parole. The former governor is currently serving a 3-year sentence at a federal prison in Florida for mail fraud and racketeering. Newsweek says that Mandel and Carter never got along as governors. In fact, Mandel backed Jerry Brown for president in 1976. Coming up, local residents protest a school closing in Baltimore County.
And another radiation leak at Calvert Cliffs. That and more when we come back.
Well, Nancy, just pick up the phone and call him. Say what I say. Doug, it's Jennifer. Busy? Well, how about coming over for a drink? Look, Nan, a few years ago, it wasn't considered respectable for a woman to ask a man over for a drink. But I figure when I'm serving Harvey's Bristol Cream, it's more than just respectable. It's downright upright. Nancy, I've got to go.
Harvey's Bristol Cream.
We'd rather kebab than barbecue.
Kebab it.
Wait till you taste nice plump shrimp kebabs.
Kebab it.
Wherever introduces Kebab It, a delicious new way to entertain your friends and family with exciting main dishes, hors d'oeuvres, and desserts.
Want a kebab for apples with me? Kebab it.
New Wherever Kebab It. It's a lot of delicious ways to entertain.
Kebab it.
See the Wherever Kebab It at participating True Value hardware stores.
You've got the look. You've got the look. You've got the look. I want to know better. You've got the look. That's all together. Working, playing, day or night. Jordan's head, nothing that's right. Here she comes. The Jordan's look. The Jordan's look.
Once you decide to own one of the world's fine automobiles, you seek out a car that stands alone. Maybe that's why more people are choosing to own Seville than any luxury import model. With front-wheel drive, 4-wheel disc brakes, choice of diesel, gas-powered V6 or V8 6.4 fuel injection. So advanced in technology, so distinctive of line, Seville is an American standard for the world.
Another radiation leak at the Calvert Cliffs nuclear power plant today, the 5th leak over the past year.
The leak occurred around 11:25 this morning when instruments at the plant showed a valve was closed when in fact it remained open, and that caused a backup of radioactive water. Still, as in the past, Baltimore Gas and Electric is calling the incident minor. The radiation that leaked out into the environment, they say, was not enough to do any damage to plant employees or local residents. In Baltimore today, I talked with BG&E spokesman Charles Franklin.
I think, if anything, these very small, minor leaks like we've had today prove that the system works, that the equipment is sensitive enough to pick up minor amounts of radiation, that there are no large releases, I'm happy to say, and I think it warrants, if anything, confidence in the system.
Candidly, though, the question then becomes, isn't that what the people were saying at TMI before the tragedy there?
Oh, sure, and I think that I think I'd be the last person in the world, and my engineers would agree with me, that you cannot take a cavalier, it's never going to happen attitude. I mean, let's face it, it's a billion-dollar plant, and much of the money of that $1 billion is designed to do one thing, and that's to make sure it's safe. So I don't ever think we can adopt the attitude of, well, these are minor, we need not worry about them. We do worry about them. We do everything we can to keep them down.
Today's leak was within the allowable limits set by the NRC.